Hey there everybody, Odin here, and this is an impressions video for Square Enix's newest action RPG, Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. Footage captured is from the demo featured in last week's Nintendo Direct, which is now available for download on Nintendo Switch 2. If you like this video, please give a like and hit that subscribe button and notification bell for more. Now, let's get on with it. At the end of last week's not-so-flavorful Nintendo Direct, Square Enix took the show with showing two games, Adventures of Elliot and Octopath Traveler 0. It was also with no surprise that Square had also released a demo given their last releases so that we could play and provide feedback. At first glance, Adventures of Elliot looked lukewarm at best and did not do much to sell me besides the term action RPG being used as part of the marketing material, but there was a demo and I could at least give it a good old college try to see how I felt about it, and boy, I was surprised. Right away, the narrator, which also happens to be in the same voice from the trailer, cuts off and talks about the world Philadelphia.
This is the world of Philadelphia.
Yes, we're West Philadelphia, born and raised. From there, it will cut into the panoramic shot of the art and straight into a cutscene featuring the cast of characters, as well as Elliot, which is described as a man that has his quirks.
I can vouch for his character, although I will admit he has his quirks.
At that moment, you understand who you're playing as, who the main cast is, and what your purpose in the world is. A few moments later, you're cast off to explore the world at your heart's content. Given this is an HD-2D style game, it would be a crime to not talk about this nostalgic art style that was debuted with Octopath Traveler. This art style was adopted into various projects including Live Alive, Triangle Strategy, and now the Dragon Quest HD-2D remakes. It is an adored style which I love because it is a masterful blend of nostalgia with beautiful visuals. When you enter the first zone, which is a forest-like region with trees all around you, it is obvious from the start that Clay Techworks has done it again and has used this art style to the best of their ability to create such a beautiful world. From the trailer, there was a vibe that I couldn't help but think was a Zelda-like feel to what was presented. There was dungeons, red health vials, which totally aren't hearts, and a sword and shield for your main character. You even have a fairy named Vi, reminiscent of Navi from Ocarina of Time, and yes, she is just as annoying. As you leave town for the first time, after maybe chatting up a few locals, you cast off and go on your adventure. I immediately got some Link's Awakening or a Link to the Past vibes while walking around. Within a few moments, you come across a guidepost that acts as both a save point and a fast travel point at the same time. This can be incredibly useful as getting back to town can be quite a trek if you need to stock up on potions and items for later. Another key takeaway from Zelda is that you can pick up and cut blades of grass as well as smash pots. Yes, this is a thing, much like how Souls-likes have bonfires, and I make that comparison, and I stand by it. Exploration in Adventures of Elliot appears to be open zone. It is not quite open world as a game like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, but as stated before, being a Zelda-like, it can be compared to something like Link's Awakening or Link to the Past. You explore regions of the map, which may or may not have caves or dungeons inside for you to explore and are rewarded by new things to see and accomplish. As far as I could tell, each region has something for you to do and find. I like that even side caves have benefits for you to explore. In them, you can find things like Magicite, which are like materia for your character. These offer a variety of gameplay advantages like more attack power, speed, and defense. Sometimes, you can even find useful items. A cave opened up to a tucked away portion of the map which had a chest containing a Ring of Harvest, which increased the range of how far I can collect items. Some caves even will contain an upgraded weapon with increased stats. Another great feature of exploration is in the dungeons. Dungeons also contain keys, denoted by key 1 and key 2 in the demo, which unlock other doors throughout the dungeon. This encourages searching around the dungeon since you need to progress past 1 or 2 doors to reach the end. This reminds me of old school games, another Zelda reference, from back in the day, and I'm glad it's present here. If you take the time to explore, the world will reward you back with useful items and gear to use in your adventure. All these items improve your character and your utility against foes in your way. Aside from dungeons, you come across shrines. It's not even like they're hiding at this point, which contained a trial for Elliot to overcome. From the demo, all these shrines featured puzzles for you to overcome versus a combat scenario. After overcoming these shrines, you're rewarded with a drop of life. Again, not even going to beat a dead horse at this point, is an extra heart. I mean, health file. As stated many times so far, this game can be compared to Zelda. You even have 2 buttons for your primary being a sword and your secondary being a bomb or bow. You can unlock options later, but at the start you immediately have 4 famous items from you know it, Zelda, a sword, shield, bow, and a bomb. Combat at first felt kind of stiff as you only have 1 sword animation, but I began to realize this was an intended choice as it is clear the game intends you to choose your attacks rather than button mashing to victory. You can button mash, but more often than not you'll regret that decision as on the higher difficulty, getting hit hurts a lot. As the demo opens up, you're exposed to new ways to fight via a scythe chain. This is a new weapon that can be swapped with a sword and acts as a medium range weapon since if enemies are too close, they cannot be hit as easily. This weapon features a pull mechanic if charged, which made me mutter, "Get over here!" as I pulled an enemy toward me. This weapon is great for crowds and offers a useful way to play that also does not make the sword obsolete. The demo features 2 bosses, both of which are very good. They both provide a variety of attacks for you to watch, and they are not too easy either, which is a common issue with the most recent top-down Zelda games. Each boss had multiple phases and ensured that I used my equipment, as well as Fi, to the best of my ability. I was tested each time and needed to use the right equipment to maintain survivability of the encounter. If this is an idea of what the main game delivers, then I am absolutely in. Clegg Techworks, I don't know what you're cooking, but those 2 boss fights were fantastic. The musical score here is a delight. Each zone had their own theme, as well as bosses, providing excellent variety of the music to experience throughout the demo. Sound effects were also well done. Each weapon sounds good and has their own identity with how they sound and interact. Enemies also sound unique, which is also appreciated. Now, voice acting. I think the demo starts out really well and all the characters sound great.
I have asked you here because new ruins have been discovered within Beast Tribe territory. There may be things we can learn of magic within, so I would like you to investigate.
But of course, Your Majesty.
This will be a dangerous task. Please be careful.
I just have one gripe. Fi. Fi starts out to be fine, but then you start to get annoyed because she does not shut up.
Now,
It is like she is programmed to say something after every single action. Her voice doesn't even sound that bad, if used in a moderate variety, but she says things non-stop like Navi from Ocarina of Time. If there could be at least a compromise where we could tone her down a little bit through the settings, that would be very appreciated. This studio has been known to take audience feedback into account, which is always appreciated and make sure our voices are heard. Now, this is a demo, so issues should be taken with a grain of salt and are not an indicator of the final product. If I had to nitpick, I think the menus could be a tad better. Accessing my inventory was a bit cumbersome. There were times where I wanted to swap my weapons and it just felt rigid. Another issue was that the frame rate in town and parts of the forest was a bit choppy. I'm sure this issue as well will be resolved come the release. My last issue, it's fine. Again, please let us tone her down if that is the only option we can do. I don't hate her, but she just can really get on your nerves, especially after an hour of hearing her talk every 3 seconds. I had a great time with the demo for Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. At first, it did not hook me, but when I got to the end, I was sold. This is yet another masterful execution of the HD-2D art style, and brings us a traditional Zelda-like game to experience while Eiji Aonuma and his team develop more open-ended Zelda games. It is a breath of fresh air, and it makes me excited for this game's final release. I will review it again when it releases sometime next year. The demo is free, so if you have not already downloaded, please do so. And if you're waiting for it to release on other platforms, I am sure it will happen simultaneously like Dragon Quest III or post-launch like all other HD-2D games. Thanks for tuning in. Odin here. Have a Zantetsuken day.